Hello, awesome people. I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day today. So today, for the Monday that I dedicate to doing reviews of older things in Dungeons & Dragons or Battletech, stuff like that, in RPGs and war games too, I wanted to do my review of D2, Shrine of Kuo-Toa. It's from 78 for the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons. It's written by Gary Gygax. So I thought I'd do my review of it too last week. In the last 4 weeks I've done G1 through 3, D1 last week. I'll finish up the series D3, Bolt of the Drought next week, and then I'll finish it up with Q1, Queen of the Demon Weapons. Then I'll also be doing things like I've previously done reviews of modules earlier here, like L2, the Assassin's Nod, or L1, the Secret of Bonehill, stuff like that. So if you enjoyed that stuff, check it out, all the earlier stuff too, on today's stuff. All right, let's get started. It's 1978, and Gary Gygax is in between publishing books, and all the heavy stuff, like the Monster Manual, the Player's Handbook, and that sort of thing for the first edition. So, as a way to sort of get between that, he writes this series. It's some of the first stuff, ventures that are written for the first edition, or regular stuff too. All right, so the cover art for this is by David Sutherland III. Interior art is by him too, and then also by the other David A. Trampier. This is the sequel to the introduction of the Underdark in D1, and then the G series that introduced the absolute classic that are out that happened in G3. So the D here stands for Drow. And this is where the love of them started, because of how well they were done early on, and all Underdark campaigns moving forward. Love this too. Alrighty, so this Uber series from G1 to Q1 was voted as the top best module in the game for its 30th anniversary in the Dungeon magazine and that sort of thing. And I've done some of my top videos too. My tops. I did my top 70 instead of my top 30, but you get the idea. This has 24 pages long, 4 more than before. It's for levels, one more level higher than the previous one, 10 to 14. Alright, so in this module, you will find the shrine is led by Priest Prince Va Gulg, with 2 U's. And in the area around you, you'll be introduced to that presence by a lake crossing monitor, a Kuo-Toa, and that sort of thing. Then you can run into deep gnomes here too. You'll also run into many of the presences of the drought being here too. The Kuo-Toa do trade openly with the drought, but there's a lot of hostility between the two, so there are often raids and that sort of thing. You can either ally with the Kuo-Toa if you treat them and their customs with respect, or you can, since they aren't actually outwardly hostile to them, or you can just get along with them. So I sold this lawful evil necromancer warrior leader, and there is a group of neutral NPCs too on the team, and then he allied with them. And for them, and you too, this can be a great resting place, last bastion of peace, and a rest before the big battles begin. Big battles will happen pretty frequently moving forward. Alrighty, so the first one here was more down here, D1. Descent into the depths of the earth. I would argue it was more of an exploration rather than a dungeon delve. This is a dungeon delve, though. And then the next one will be the first political drama. Alrighty. So there is, so to my mind, Gary Gygax can get a little bit too bogged down in the weeds here, even though it's 4 pages longer than the previous ones. And that sort of thing, it gets a little too much to get lost in the details, and that sort of thing, which may not always, be used here, and that sort of thing. So I kind of give this an 8 out of 10 instead of all the previous 4 getting 10s out of 10. Just as a heads up. So if you really think it's a 10 out of 10, sorry about that, but I think it's an 8 out of 10. for those reasons. But an 8 out of 10 is still fine. It's still respectable. It's a little pretty strong module rating. You hate to know sorts of things. Alrighty, so there you are. So those are my quick thoughts. 8 out of 10 for you folks, or 4 out of 5, or whatever. 80% on a test, or whatever. For 78's Shrine of the Kuo-Toa for you folks, which is a set, which is the one that's sort of gets you down there, in between getting down there and then getting to Trail City proper, and trying to get allies with them, like the Surf Neville and the Deep Nose that you run across, or the Kuo-Toa here too. Alright. So there you are. Have you read this? And if so, I'm sorry, have you played this? And if so, what did you think about it? Or have you run it? Anything like that? I did run this as a solo campaign, and that sort of thing, like I mentioned before. So I've done both. But what have you done? Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you agree or disagree with my 8 out of 10, let me know that too. Alrighty, so just there you are. I appreciate it so very much. Alrighty, and so like I mentioned before, there's a lot more of these older modules and older things here. If you want to check this out, love it lots. You can also go back. I've done yesterday. I didn't, and on 3 days a week I do every older science fiction, fantasy, and horror stuff. And then on Saturday I dedicate that day to the lost storytelling genre art of the movie and TV stereos. And we just did our review of Doctor Who's Space Museum. Next will be The Chase, which I watched on Saturday from 67, his second season of the first Doctor. Or you can just let me know. Or on Friday, I did my top 10 board games. And on Wednesday, I dedicate that to video games. And I did a review of 3 Point Campus. You can tell what I've been playing recently. Here's a Might Magic 3 from '99. Those sorts of older things. So if you like those older things like this, you'll love those too. It's also so check out and hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell icon if you're from Frisky to be notified by 7 videos a week, and then also let your friends know what you do and just watch. Right. All those older things tells you that is actually where the passion and the name of this channel comes from, which is the worst thing about new books. Quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, he said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And there's definitely some older stuff out there we might have forgotten about. Alrighty, so there you are. I want to finally thank you so much, for taking some time out of your day and investing it, right? And just watching my video, because we all have so many things, right, that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me, it's incredibly humbling. So I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.